The choice of believing what Michael Gentili is saying is true, or what the other side is claiming, if life choices were as simple or where you end up in that choice, we'd all have a much better life. And I'm going to leave it at that. Don't write to me about it. That's long gone. Any and all of us that took our lumps, and I took a $2.6 million loss lump, and this guy saying, oh, he made money before that. No, not anything close to the loss that I had in it. I would not sell Group 11 or Radisson for anything, including putting it into North Island. That is off the table for me. Others is your choice. There are other good companies we involved and they're up. That's your choice. But my answer is a firm no when asked, Pete, should I sell Group 11 Resources or Radisson? In fact, for those that want to be more diversified than me, they're never better to own, are also two significant takeover targets and all. And please God, if it can work out that I can get up there in June, see them, and I'll see that guy Gentili as well. But just, that's the record now. Now, this past weekend, Michael Gentili finally basically washed his hands of a previous company that many of us once owned. Some still do, I think. And since then, some of you have written to me, clients and just followers, claiming what their side is saying about what Michael Gentili said in his comment about them. I don't even want to say the company name. I don't, despite what some people try to imply, I don't have a stock chat account, even though some people claim it's me at some place because somebody's speaking in positive about me. That's just a follower. I appreciate who they are. I don't even know who they are. But the bottom line is I don't have a stock chat. Any of these people claim they want to, I'll put up $1 million. They can put up any part of it, and we can go and show the proof whether or not I am telling the truth. But with all that aside and all that keyboard warrior stuff, on that same site, two people who now totally knocked the company used to knock me and the fact when I left supporting it. It's just ironic when you look at those things. It's comical. But what I want to get to the most important point, there's three things I want to discuss here. The first I want to get out of the way. The principals of that other company, according to the emails you're sending me, are claiming difference of opinion of what transpired versus what Michael Gentili said in his message. Let me just say this to you so we're all on board. Michael Gentili, who's a super great friend, and understand this, my best friend and client ever, and Michael are involved in something far more important than anything about mining stocks, a Catholic fund to help spread the gospel that I'm honored to be helpful to, and both are the dearest friends. And to me, just so you know, that's more important than anything that happens in a mining relationship and companies and all of that. And praise God, I pray nothing but for the glory that they are trying to install and spread in what they do. And to Michael, just so you know, I bet everything I have. This is the order of importance to Michael Gentili. First and foremost, second is so far away, God, then his family, and way down third, his business. Okay? Versus the other people, I don't even want to comment to tell you what I think their list is. The choice of believing what Michael Gentili is saying is true, or what the other side is claiming, if life choices were as simple or where you end up in that choice, we'd all have a much better life. And I'm going to leave it at that. Don't write to me about it. That's long gone. Any and all of us that took our lumps, and I took a $2.6 million loss lump, and this guy saying, oh, he made money before that. No, not anything close to the loss that I had in it. We all got it back and then some.
A major theme of Grandich's remarks centered on trust between investors and executives. He referenced respected investor Michael Gentile, emphasizing Gentile's reputation for disciplined investing and selective board involvement. Grandich argued that Gentile rarely associates himself with projects unless he sees strong potential and responsible leadership. In the volatile junior mining market, investors often face conflicting narratives from company insiders and critics. Grandich urged followers to judge situations carefully and focus on credible voices rather than online speculation. Ultimately, he suggested that integrity and transparency should guide investment decisions, qualities that separate sustainable mining ventures from speculative ventures that struggle to maintain investor confidence.
Many of us just went into North Isle Copper and Gold, and we made that loss back, and then some others went into other things. But that's where it's at. I wouldn't have anything to do with them. They are the exact opposite of the three companies and people that I want to talk to you about today. Okay? And let me get the other two, because I presently don't own them, but I don't own them because I don't like them. It's because you already know I made this one huge bet, and everything else, I'm in a foxhole compared to where I think things are going to be. So let me talk about the other two, because the people that run the other two are on the same level as the one that I own, and they're deserving of me to say what I'm about to say. And I'm speaking about Group 11 Resources and its chairman Bart, and Ryzen Mining and its chairman Matt. If Matt, Bart, and Sam were in a fire and they told me I could only save one of them, I would have to let all three burn, because I can't separate the three of them. Okay? It is so rare in the junior resource market to find such hardworking, honest, and humble CEOs as those three men have been for each of their principals of their companies. Okay? In fact, depending on my daughter's birth and depending on how things go, I am considering flying to the Quebec City conference. I don't want to speak again. I spoke there 2 years ago. You know me, I don't want to go to conferences and that stuff anymore. Just to see those guys. I've met Bart. I still have not met Sam or Matt. But all three are supposed to be at that conference. And I just like to shake their hands for the job they did and how we all profited from their hard work and all. And why I'm bringing that up also. People are asking me this, and I want to be on the record and public as public can be. I would not sell Group 11 or Radisson for anything, including putting it into North Isle. That is off the table for me. Others is your choice. There are other good companies we're involved in. They're up. That's your choice. But my answer is a firm no when asked. Pete, should I sell Group 11 Resources or Radisson? In fact, for those that want to be more diversified than me, they're never better to own.
Grandich also highlighted three executives he believes represent the best of the junior resource industry. These leaders are connected to companies such as Group 11 Resources and Ryzen Mining. According to him, dedicated and ethical leadership is surprisingly rare in the exploration business, where many projects fail before reaching production. He praised these executives for their hard work, humility, and commitment to creating shareholder value. Junior mining companies typically face enormous financial and technical hurdles, including exploration costs, regulatory approvals, and fluctuating commodity prices. Leaders who navigate these challenges while maintaining transparency often earn strong loyalty from investors seeking stability in an unpredictable sector.
So let me just touch on both of them before I focus the last part on North Isle Copper and Gold. Group 11 has made another huge discovery. We went from a boring zinc, no one cares, to, oh my God, look at this silver and potential copper play. Okay? Here's the story that's not being spoken about, at least from what I can see. Everybody thinks of Glencore because they're a major shareholder. There's another public company run by a very sophisticated group out of Canada, okay, that has restarted a mine there and doing other things, and they're very entrepreneurial. That is where you should consider some sort of relationship or marriage down the road. Don't just say, well, it's only Glencore, and if they don't do anything, Group 11's out. No. But Group 11 is just no one, Bart Jaworski, no one that I ever invested in spent as little as possible to find as most as possible than that man. Okay. Now, I told you many months ago that still own the stock, that when Michael Gentile went on the board, because he's not looking to go on board, trust me, that was going to be the accelerator. When he starts devoting that time, and don't ask me how he devotes his time to now 32 investments, managing a part co-founder of a money management group in Canada, running a Catholic fund, and 5 daughters, because I know what one daughter takes the time to do. He has 5 of them. Group 11, phenomenal. Just a phenomenal story. Radisson, for those of us that were greatly benefited from Northern Superior, and now I just remember I want to talk about the spinoff, and people ask me what should I do with those stocks. I'm glad I remembered that. Radisson is Northern Superior 2.0. Grinding away, enhancing assets, eventually going to be taken over. It's the same route. And Matt, I know you're probably going to watch this, or somebody's going to send it to you and all. We haven't met, but since you arrived there, you led a charge. Again, I wouldn't sell that stock to own another stock or sell it on period. I think Group 11 and Radisson are also 2 significant takeover targets and all. And please God, if it can work out that I can get up there in June to see them, and I'll see that guy Gentile as well. But just, that's the record now. Now,
Recent exploration results have placed Group 11 Resources back in the spotlight. Originally known for zinc exploration, the company has uncovered promising signs of silver and copper mineralization, metals increasingly vital for modern industries and clean energy infrastructure. Global mining giant Glencore already holds a stake in the project, giving the discovery additional credibility in the market. However, Grandich noted that partnerships with other entrepreneurial mining firms could also play a role in the project's future development. Discoveries like these often attract acquisition interest from major mining corporations seeking to secure new supply sources for metals critical to global manufacturing and energy transitions.
for those that stayed on this long, and probably because the single biggest stock I've ever been involved in, I know more clients and clearly followers by the amount of emails and inquiries I get from our clients, own it, North Isle Copper and Gold. Now, I'm going to post with this. I just thought of doing this because there are a lot of new people now. The last couple of Michael Gentile comments, and of course the last interview I did with Sam Lee. There was a treasure trove of insights to that interview with Sam. Now I'm going to tell you this on the life of my family, my wife and daughter, the most important things in my life, and soon my grandchild. Michael Gentile and Sam Lee do not do any AP. None. Okay? But I've learned to read people over time. And I am telling you, Sam Lee is in the most bullish position and has every right to be. And if you just take the time and try to soak in what he said, there are some really treasure troves there. Now, people say to me, how do you say it's you were buying a stock at 20 cents? It's now $2.40. How's it cheaper? Relative to what they have now versus what they had then? Absolutely. And far less risk. That's the bottom line. And the upside still remains. And people say, what do you mean? Well, we got a 10 times return there. I think there's 10 times from here. Is it going to take a couple of years? Absolutely. It's not happening in a week or month. But what I wanted to tell you is you need to listen to this, because what came out of that is not only $200 billion funds were key participants in this financing. $100 billion funds wouldn't have given a time of day even after the PEA came out. But to be at this point, even before the pre-feasibility study's out, they see it. And they see it because Sam talks about the fact these investors have far less type of companies to invest in than they did a year or two ago. We're standing out because his peers have basically been taken over. And as Michael spoke about, and he brought up two others, that we were 1 to 2 years behind them, but we were going down the same path. So listen to what Michael said in his interview there. But I'm going to tell you, by the way, I better throw this in as well. And I forgot already about got to close with the IAMGOLD and OnGold, Northern Superior. I would have forgot that. And I would have got a bunch of emails. Blah, 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 blah. Sam brought up about the private placement. He's brought up two things that we've lost sight on. I lose sight on it because it's day-to-day stuff. One, Mr. Kane is running the whole company. The guy that spent 37 years with BHP, 12 or 13 right next door to the project that BHP had at that point in time, been involved with some of the biggest copper mines in the world, came out of retirement, stepped off the IAMGOLD board in order to run North Isle Copper and Gold. And if that wasn't enough, running the technical committee, overseeing all the exploration and development, is Alex Davison, who for 20 years ran the worldwide exploration for Barrick Gold. And I happen to know from many, many years ago. Okay?
One project drawing increasing attention from institutional investors is North Copper and Gold. Grandich believes the company's asset base and leadership position it as a potentially major discovery story. The project has reportedly attracted interest from large investment funds, some managing hundreds of billions of dollars. Such institutions typically perform extensive geological and economic analysis before committing capital. In addition, experienced mining veterans with decades of industry leadership have joined the project's management and technical teams. Their involvement signals growing confidence in the project's long-term potential. For investors, these developments suggest that the company may be transitioning from early exploration toward a more advanced development stage.
He did a private placement himself when he came on the board, and now he bought another 100,000 shares of the private placement. I don't care how wealthy folks are. They just don't throw $300,000 away if they don't really believe in something. Minor, but important. But the real cherry, if you want to call it, in Sam's conversation is how he spoke about the relationship with Wheaton Precious Metals. I can't tell you how significant that was. And I'm not going to go into details and all because it's only my view of what it was. But to me, that was the icing on the cake. So, North Isle Copper and Gold, like I'll put up my last commentary about it. The train is leaving the station. This is really the last opportunity. After this, I think it just becomes a stronghold as it rises. And I'm in it for the duration, as I've told you. People have asked me, would you ever sell? I said that I do believe this could be at 5 Canadian and above after the updated resources. And maybe at that time, I will take out my original investment and maybe a profit or something and pay my taxes and then just put the rest away and ride it to hopefully a very pleasant end. And the thing I forgot to mention earlier, for those that had Northern Superior, you've been asking me, I've had 5 or 6 people just yesterday and the day before, what should I do with IAMGOLD and OnGold? Well, IAMGOLD is the main reason why Northern Superior sold, because they felt owning their shares would go up faster and they would make more gains than they would if they kept holding Northern Superior. Plus, they weren't in a position to run it by themselves. They didn't have the staff or what have you. IAMGOLD has one or two ways I think it's going. Now remember, it'd be 2 years ago this June when I spoke at that Quebec City conference. I got to hear the CEO of IAMGOLD and I got to sit with him at lunch. And I said back then, they were just turning the cote, and I said once they have that and it's flocking, he even spoke publicly about a Quebec incorporated down the road for IAMGOLD. So here's the two possibilities. And then you have to decide whether you want to sell it and go in any one of those 3 that I spoke about earlier or keep it and ride it out. IAMGOLD is either going to sell the cote and or spin off the Quebec assets into a separate company or be taken over or merged what I believe will be Agnico. That's just my view. And then what you guys want to do with that is on your own. Now, the IAMGOLD, I think, has a good future. You know, it has this tungsten, it has some gold, but I don't include it in the two like Group 11 and Radisson that I wouldn't sell to own another. So I hope that help answers any of the questions.
Beyond individual companies, Grandich also discussed broader industry dynamics involving companies like IAMGOLD. Consolidation has become a major trend in the mining sector as large producers seek to replace declining reserves. Major assets may be sold, spun off, or merged with larger companies such as Agnico Eagle Mines. This consolidation cycle often creates opportunities for early investors and promising exploration companies. According to Grandich, patient investors who focus on strong leadership and high-quality assets could see substantial long-term gains. However, he emphasized that success in mining rarely happens overnight. Major discoveries often take years to fully develop before delivering significant financial rewards,